Hello everyone, it's Maki. The Earth's Federation government plays an extremely important role in the Universal Century series. Fans often call it the mastermind behind everything or the organization that caused it all. It will also take on a key role in the upcoming second film of Hathaway's, Flash. This time, let's look for the answer to the question, how was the Earth's Federation government born? Surprisingly, not much information has been provided. This is probably because it was before the time of mobile suits, the main stars of the Gundam series. Nevertheless, learning how the Earth's Federation government came to be will surely enrich your enjoyment of the Universal Century series. Before we dive into the main topic, I have a quick announcement. On my channel, I'm accepting support through memberships. For 99 cents a month, you can get a name badge and commenting perks. Now, let's begin the analysis. This is why the Earth's Federation government was established. It was to prevent the destruction of Earth's natural environment by explosive population growth. As I've mentioned before in past episodes, this is the ultimate conclusion, but this time let's examine the descriptions in the TV anime and novel versions. Today, I'll be referring to the novel written by Yoshiyuki Tomino himself. Even in stories written by others, it's safe to assume that the settings created by Mr. Tomino have been respected. First, let's observe the world envisioned by its creator. Let's look at the description in the first volume of the original 0079 novel. It has been half a century since the attempt began to peacefully result in insane population increase on Earth through the policy of migration into space. Space migration didn't begin as a means of discrimination or exclusion, but rather as a policy intended to preserve the Earth peacefully. The idea of a wish mentioned in Gundam Unicorn may have been inspired by Tomino's focus on this passage. But what happened as the population kept increasing? As we've discussed, the collapse of Earth's environment occurred. Tomino describes this in the first volume of the novel. Mankind wanted to avoid the folly of destroying the planet's natural systems through population growth and bringing about the collapse of the entire star at all costs. The content is almost identical in Tomino's words. However, the phrase "the collapse of the entire star" left a strong impression on me. Think back to the final scene of Char's counterattack. At one point, a Neo Zeon soldier, while cooperating with Admiral Ray, speaks out. Whether Earth survives or not depends on this. It's worth giving it a try. These words echo what Tomino wrote in his novel. It's unclear whether he intentionally made the lines similar to the passages. However, the idea of people reaching beyond the concept of enemy and ally to cooperate in the moment when the planet itself seems on the verge of destruction is deeply fascinating. The people of Earth and the people of Neo Zeon. This scene makes us feel that they could share the same feelings and work together. This is purely my personal interpretation, but isn't it possible that what is happening in this scene is the same phenomenon as the moment the Earth's Federation government was born? The first volume of the Zeta Gundam novel also contains a similar description. In the AD era, the growing human population exhausted the Earth. Nature was destroyed, and the pollution produced by civilization overwhelmed the planet. As a countermeasure, humanity constructed space colonies. They tried to solve the problems of population growth and food shortages. The first volume of the Hathaway's Flash novel provides more specific numbers. As a result of the development of modern civilization, the Earth was polluted by waste. When the greenhouse effect raised the planet's average temperature by about 2 degrees, humanity began to feel a sense of crisis. The prolonged food crisis and destruction of nature, which began with abnormal weather, made it difficult for humans to continue living on Earth. Migration into space was unavoidable. Researchers and scientists have also observed a rise in temperature in the real world since the Industrial Revolution. Though the exact numbers vary slightly depending on the organization, they generally agree that the average increase is about 1.5 degrees. The first volume of Hathaway's Flash was published in 1989. The figures written are extremely close to reality. It's as if Mr. Tomino had foreseen today's world. The idea that global warming became more pronounced after the Industrial Revolution is often mentioned by real-world researchers as well. The Industrial Revolution began around 1733 with societal changes brought about by machines and energy. It has now been about 300 years since the start of that revolution. 300 years may seem like a very long time to humans. But what if we look at it from Earth's perspective? According to modern research, the Earth was born about 4.5 billion years ago. From Earth's point of view, 300 years could be considered just an instant. It's fair to say that humanity has polluted the environment and pushed it to the brink of collapse in an instant. In G. Xavier, the opening states that the AD calendar ended in 2045 and the era of the universal century began. This phrase is the story about 20 years in the future from today, in the real world. Usually, the idea of a fictional era drawing nearly excites people. However, when we consider universal century history, it's difficult to feel purely happy about it. We can also find a description of the birth of the Earth's Federation government. It appears in the first volume of Hathaway's Flash. The Earth's Federation government was established around the time that the idea spread from the cities that humanity might perish with the Earth. Thus began the construction of space colonies. According to this text, the founding of the Earth's Federation government was triggered by people's sense of crisis. This may be surprising to some. It wasn't a single nation that unified the Earth's government by force or economic power. Rather, people shared the feeling that we can't just leave Earth as it is, and from that sentiment, the Earth's Federation government was born. Mr. Tomino is often noted for depicting desperate situations. However, in his works, there are also cases where events happen because of people's goodwill. This tone is similar to the atmosphere found later in U.C GUNDAM or Reconquista in G. The first volume of Gundam F91 also contains a passage about humanity's decision. There was a time when humankind made a noble decision as a species. In order to save the planet, they decided that humanity, which had been destroying it, should leave and give the Earth 10,000 years of rest. The United Nations carried out that decision. According to the records, the United Nations initiated the decision to save Earth. However, the process seemed to be marked by turmoil. The first volume of Gundam F91 describes the confusion. When the United Nations carried out the decision, massive conflicts erupted all over the world. Countless massacres also occurred between nations and across regions due to cultural differences. It seems that many tragic events piled up during the period leading up to the official founding of the Earth Federation government. In the fourth volume of the Zeta Gundam novel, it says in the old century, the League of Nations and the United Nations collapsed. The novel goes on to state that Dakar, where the Central Assembly of the Earth Federation government resides, is walking the same history. By the time of Victory Gundam, the Earth Federation government had become a weak organization. This suggests that when writing the Zeta Gundam novel, Mr. Tomino had already documented the decline of the Earth Federation government. In reality, neither the League of Nations nor the United Nations was intended to represent a unified government. Rather, they were organizations created to encourage cooperation between nations and build peace. Due to their philosophy of respecting each country's autonomy and culture, neither organization had the coercive power of a single, unified government. Perhaps the framework of the United Nations alone wasn't enough to carry out a global-scale project like space migration. However, since space migration was initiated by the United Nations, it makes sense to consider the Earth Federation government an offshoot of the United Nations. It would be unrealistic to think that a completely unrelated organization could suddenly inherit and execute such a massive plan. What we have analyzed so far is almost everything regarding the birth of the Earth Federation government. Although it is an extremely important organization, there is less information about it than you might think. The organization remains shrouded in mystery. In the TV anime series, there are very few clear explanations. In episode 37 of Zeta Gundam, Quadrovachi Bakery says, "Humanity set off into space to avoid the weight of mankind sinking the Earth." In episode 33 of Gundam Double Zeta, Bright Noah says, "There are too many humans. If things had been left as they were, the whole world would have turned into the Sahara Desert." In Gundam F91, Maitsurana Bakery explains, "Humanity began living in space as a way to pay for the destruction of Earth's nature." While the words are vague, they align with what's written in the novels. Of course, since Mr. Tomino directed these anime, the consistency is to be expected. So why was the Earth Federation government born? The answer is that the destruction of Earth's environment endangered humanity's survival. Therefore, to save both Earth and humanity, the Earth Federation government was created to carry out space migration. This is almost exactly what I summarized at the beginning of today's episode. However, I think we also discovered some fascinating points, such as how it inherited the work of the United Nations and the words of the Neo, Zeon soldiers. This may also deepen our understanding of why Hathaway Noah acted under the name Mafti. Mafti never declared we will destroy the Earth Federation government. Instead, they wanted to force the government to reflect on its actions. This reasoning is rooted in the circumstances of the Earth Federation government's birth. The universal century world is still overflowing with fascinating elements. I'll continue researching, so please look forward to what's next. Thank you so much for watching until the very end. See you in the next episode.